Another party strategizing on how best to convince the electorate that they are the party well positioned to lead the country is the Social Democratic Party. At a meeting presided by its national chairman, Shehu Musa Gabam, the party filled three vacant leadership positions of the National Working Committee. In a press statement, the party said Ugochukwu Uba now occupies the position of Deputy National Chairman South and Dr. Sadiq Umar Abubakar, Deputy National Chairman North. Hussaini Adobelo was chosen as the party's National Financial Secretary. But for more on these coalition talks, I'm joined now by the National Chairman of the Young Progressives Party, Bishop Amakiri, as well as the National Publicity Secretary of the Social Democratic Party, Rufus Aiyenegba. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the news tonight. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I think the first place to start is to ask, how real is this coalition beyond Mr. Atiku's announcement? I believe this is the second time he has referred to a coalition since March. And I'll start with you, the YPP. Is the YPP and the SDP part of this coalition? I'll start with you, Mr. Amakiri.
I don't know what, I really don't know what kind of conversation that this coalition has been driving.
You're not aware? You're not involved?
I'm not interested.
Okay. But you have been approached? Have you been approached?
By?
The coalition movers and talkers.
I'm just hearing it on the, or maybe on the media. So there's people talking about. I can't give a definite answer, okay, as to whether coalition is going on in Nigeria, and I don't want to dissipate my energy on such kind of talk.
Interesting. And Mr. Aiyenegba, is the SDP part of this coalition Mr. Atiku talks about?
Thank you for basically. What SDP is doing is to galvanize its members and motivate, inspire Nigerians to rally around the SDP as the credible alternative going into 2027 to provide the kind of leadership and governance that Nigerians desire, that will move Nigeria forward, provide life in a more meaningful way, and to impart the system and make Nigerians feel better. So that is essentially what the SDP is doing. Yeah, people are talking to us. People are coming around. Politicians of national acclaim, they are gravitating towards the SDP, reaching us, but essentially it's not about, we're coming together to maybe coalition or merger. We are not in any merger talk with any party. People are coming around, they believe that the SDP is the go-to party.
So you're not a part of the coalition Mr. Atiku is referring to, is what you're saying?
You know, Atiku and all that, they are talking to us, they are having conversation around the issue of working by way of collaboration.
Isn't that a coalition then? How do you define that?
Coalition now, yeah, but what we are talking about now, what I'm trying to let you know is essentially SDP is the central focus of whatever they think as a credible platform they can.
Interesting. So you're saying SDP may likely be the vehicle
for
this coalition?
SDP is the credible alternative that everybody is looking at.
Mr. Amakiri, let me come back to you. You say you are not interested in coalition, and you will not dissipate your energy on that. We do appreciate that. But let me ask you, because you are here, and this is the topic on ground. If you're not interested, is it because you do not trust that the coalition can work, or you do not trust those who are talking about it? Why are you not interested in coalition? Or do you think you can do it all alone?
Nobody can stand alone. Even a tree cannot make a forest.
Yeah.
But at some point, a tree can create a shadow that, you know, people can sit under the shadow and have a think tank for what they can bring to a community or to the larger community. Now, when I say I don't want to dissipate my energy on a coalition, you have to look at the pedigree of a coalition, a build-up coalition. Is it a coalition based on nation building, or is it a coalition based on power grab? Then that should give is even a pertinent question that is not just for YPP member or myself as a national chairman of YPP. I think it should be a concern to every Nigerian when issues about coalition springs up. Who are the pioneers? Who are the people actually pioneering the process? And then you now look at the faces on board. What have they done? And when I say pedigree, we heard about this kind of coalition 2015, okay, and then just for some persons who felt they have to take out somebody from power, and then all they were going after, you know, at that particular time was to see how they would, in fact, people even threatened. We're in a country where people have said, we will make your government ungovernable if you refuse to give way. And some persons, so you look at, when you see the conglomeration of people talking about coalition, I mean.
So you're worried more about the people. I know YPP brands itself as a party of fresh ideas and young, focused leadership.
Yes.
So, but
new breed of leaders.
New breed of leaders.
Yes.
So is
without greed.
Without greed. Interesting.
Yes.
So is that the concern that the people who are moving for this coalition are the old guard? If there were younger people, would you have gone into the coalition?
Yeah, the kind of coalition I like to see is a coalition that has to do with people who are coming with ideas for building institution and not ideas to build individual. Okay, maybe personalities. And that's why when you look at a coalition, you need to ask a question. Who are these people talking about coalition? Is it people who have lost out before? Is it people who had the opportunity and have not, you know, actually impacted anything positive in our lives? Today, we are in Nigeria today, even in this Abuja we're talking about. Go to the roads, all the nooks and crannies of Abuja. Abuja was built even by military regime. This very Abuja we're talking about.
Yeah.
If you look at legacy projects that we can speak today in Nigeria, most of these legacy projects were built by people like the IBB Abacha. Okay? I'm not calling for, I'm a Democrat. I believe in the spirit of democracy. But imagine a democracy where there is no rule of law. Imagine a democracy where people go only after for their own self-personal aggrandizement. Okay, they're not talking, we're not seeing anything like mentorship. We're not talking, and that's why I am very, very worried. I'm not seeing, you know, leadership that talks about mentorship. It's all about, if people are talking about coalition, I think what they should be saying, first and foremost, what they must be doing at this point, they should be apologizing to Nigerians of their failure and now see what they can do to bring fresh ideas, new blood, I mean fresh people, you know, coming on board, and then they support them. There's nothing wrong if somebody has failed before and he said, I'm sorry, I have failed. I think we cannot do it, because you cannot give what you don't have. Great.
So if not this coalition, which coalition? I'll come back to you. Let me bring Mr. Aiyenegba into the conversation again. Some would say, because you tried to, in your explanation initially, you tried to say on the one hand, you are not in coalition talks. And on the other hand,
you are
not in merger. What's the difference between merger and coalition?
Merger, for instance,
yes,
is people coming to us and say, okay, drop your identity, drop whatever, maybe logo, stuff like that, and say, okay, we are forming.
Like the APC did.
Like it was done.
With the APC.
SDP is going into election. We had elections in the past. We have had elections, and we are going to 2027 as SDP. SDP solidly on ground and running.
Yes, so in other words, you are saying you are open to accepting defections.
Basically, people are coming on their own volition to say, we want to work with you. We see your
so people are leaving their party logos, party names to come to you.
People are even abandoning their parties and coming to us. L5 came
as
and
individuals.
Joined us. As individuals.
Yes, so
we are taking individuals. We are not taking groups. We are not taking.
Fantastic. So I needed that clarification.
Yes, people are coming in.
It takes me to my next question.
And joining us to say, oh, this is a place to
be. And I'm glad that you mentioned former Kaduna State Governor Erufai, because a lot of people say, beyond his defection from the APC to the SDP, there are no any other significant defections in sort of big personalities when it comes to Nigerian politics moving to the SDP. So why are you so confident as a party that, you know, you are the bride of the choice, or you're the choice bride for Nigerian politicians?
Nigerians should not be deceived by what they see. All the so-called bigwigs, governors crossing to wherever they are only looking
to the APC.
For, they are only looking for safe havens. Something must be pursuing them, either for purpose of self-preservation, for the purpose of, oh, this is the way a place to be safe, to secure my second term and all of that. And when you look at it, records, they are records. They say, come to this party today, your sins are forgiven. Come, and people see that, oh, this place is the place they be, and they are comfortable.
Are you receiving everybody? Is your door open to everybody, including those
every
from the APC?
Every Nigerian who means well, every patriotic Nigerian who believes in nation building, who believes in social justice, who believes that Nigeria has more than enough to give life and life in abundance.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Amakiri, but I wanted to push this in. When you say people are coming to you and you're receiving them as individuals, has Mr. Atiku Abubakar told you he's coming to your party? Is he coming to your party?
We are not interested in what he says. It is what you do to tell us you are serious, you mean business, you feel that this is the right place for you to be. You go through the process. Register, go to your ward, register, come in, and we validate the leadership of the national leadership of the party will validate your membership.
Mr. Amakiri, so you say you're not interested in this coalition and you've given your reasons why. We don't see any sort of other coalition talks ongoing. In other words, it does look like you're going it alone. Aren't you concerned that YPP will be left out in the cold?
No, but I've just told you that there's nobody that can stand alone.
Indeed, but what coalition? What else?
It doesn't matter.
Coalition meets the characteristics you've explained?
It's not about coalition. Alliances are there. People can make alliances and they talk to themselves, you know. And let me tell you, there's no political party that has the numerical strength, you know, to actually produce a president or even a governor or a state. No political party. They don't have such number
anymore.
Not anymore. Where? That's okay. Tell me which parties have what? How many? What do you mean? They don't forget about this banditry of numbers. People tell you they have millions of members or whatever. It is during elections. When you go to the polling unit, you see people across board, party men, non-partisan persons who are coming to polling unit to cast their votes. We should be talking about the situation we find ourselves at the moment, okay? That we are faced with, economic inequilibrium. We are faced with political imbalance, social catastrophe. These are things that I think should be the issue of discussion at the moment. When we talk coalition and what does coalition yielded for us in 2015, what has coalition yielded for us?
Well, coalition failed in the first instance and couldn't even see the light of day
so
in 2015.
That's why I said, let's concentrate.
But Mr. Atiku Abubakar is saying that to unseat the government of the day, no party can do it alone. Coalition has to come together to do it.
The coalition that we should be talking about is a coalition of Nigerians.
Where is that coalition?
Nigerians, the voters, people who have their voters card.
Who the House of Representatives is saying if they don't vote, they will be jailed?
It was Thomas Jefferson who said, when injustice becomes a law, resistance becomes a duty. If the people resist and say enough is enough, there's no, look, how many are they in their numbers? You are talking about National Assembly, how many members in National Assembly? 360, 109?
Yeah.
And then you bring 36 state governors and president and vice president. Cumulatively, the numbers are not even up to 1,000. And you're talking about millions of people who go to vote. All these people here, endorsement, coalition, they have only one vote. I think we should provoke a national conversation that has to do with, because the business of nation building is a multi-stakeholder obligation of every citizen. You can imagine a democracy without the power of the media.
then that's no democracy. But it's interesting you bring up that because we've seen the numbers and the numbers don't lie. More and more Nigerians are not interested in elections. Less than 30% of eligible voters came out in 2023. Mr. Aiyenegba, do you agree with him with some of his points to say this should not be about the few who are the politicians and the elected officials, but the Nigerian people? Is that what the Social Democratic Party also thinks? Or you think you need the weight of those politicians to drag the people to you?
The most important thing to really talk about first is we have the culture of looking at the individuals rather than building institutions. Mm-hmm. In Nigeria, we have weak institutions and very strong individuals. You can't win an election anywhere over the world without having the institution. Even in democracies, big democracies where independent candidacy and all of that is allowed. Here, you must belong to a political party. Your political party must have structures across the country from top to bottom, as they say, mm-hmm. national to the world level, before you can mobilize the people. This is not student activism. This is not, it is about concrete structure, putting structure in place to galvanize the populace, to see election, to mm-hmm. see the democratic process as the route through which they can put correct leadership that will engender good governance and make their lives better. So what we are doing in SDP is to provide that credible platform, building strong political institutions that people can relate with. SDP has the relatable history of having the structure across Nigeria. It has won elections in the past, won presidential election in the past, and as we speak, even at the National Assembly, House of Reps, Senate, local government, state assemblies across Nigeria, SDP have candidates that won election, and they are doing well and doing the party proud.
Well, the 2027 elections have unofficially begun. We wish your parties the best.
Thank you,
Mr. Amakiri.
Just to pursue a point, let me tell you, I still stand on my position that it is not about party. Mm. Yes, parties
are important.
Have a role to play. And I give you an example. In Anambra State, mm-hmm. the first senator we had of blessed memory, when he won his election, YPP have less than maybe 2,000 members in Anambra.
Well, your point
but he won election with over 50-something thousand votes.
Well taken. Your point is that it can be done. It's been done before.
Those people, were they YPP members that voted for Ifeanyi?
All right. Bishop Amakiri of the YPP, thank you so much. And Mr. Aiyenegba of the SDP, we do appreciate your time on the news tonight.
Thank you for having us.